guys. Welcome to another episode of Overtime with myself, Mr. Fantastic. And today we got the GOAT in the building. Today we got Mr. Kai Captures. We got the man himself, Mr. Sama.
What's up? What's up? What are you saying, man?
Yes, bro. Yes.
Just a disclaimer, I'm not a GOAT yet.
Not
yet.
You know them ones.
I'm going to get there.
When you have to be,
You're gonna
what's
try
it
to play
called?
humble.
Yeah, you know them ones. You know you made it, but you're like, nah. Let me try to keep it humble. Let me try to keep it humble before the haters come for me.
So, man, I mean, making it is one thing. You make it, but a GOAT status that's different, man. That's different.
It takes time.
Exactly.
You need to develop to be the GOAT. You need to develop,
exactly.
And that's why I don't put
develop is one thing, but you need to actually build not even just a foundation. You need to leave, what's the word? A legacy.
A legacy. I hear that.
Legacy. That's it.
That. But speaking about GOATs and a comment that you made on my Insta when I put up my top 5 rappers and I left out Tupac. Yeah. The reason why I personally don't think that he's in my top 5 is because we never got to see his music develop. We never got to see how he would cope with the times. You know what I'm saying? At the time, Tupac was dope. There were so many people in those times that were dope. I'm
looking at you literally just doubting your thought process of what you're trying to articulate.
No. The things I know what I'm saying, like in my opinion, one of the greatest artists to ever live, in my opinion, is Jay-Z. Jay-Z's done it for time. He's developed, he's improved, his style has changed. He hasn't lost himself, but he's still with the time. Yeah. And he's able to do it. There's so many people that started with him that they can't do it today. Lyrically, Andre 3000 is amazing, but his music failed to go with time. And it's a thing of, I'm not downplaying Tupac, please, before anyone comes at me, I'm not downplaying him.
Even before you finish the Tupac line, just going back to Andre 3000, would you then say that that's because if you look at the audience from a wider spectrum, they can't really resonate with his music? Obviously, we're talking about evolving there. And yes, Jay-Z has quite rightfully evolved in a crazy way, given the revenue that he had coming in as well in terms of the music part of things. We know that Jay-Z delved a lot more into business. Obviously, he wasn't, especially in recent times, we don't really hail him for, the music that he puts out there. He rarely makes songs these days, you know what I'm saying? So again, he went into the business part of things and he just blew differently. So if we're talking about music-wise, there are people who still, again, Andre 3000, there are people who still resonate with that. There are older people, you know what I'm saying? They will still, hear that sound, etc. They would appreciate that. Maybe it was something that he genuinely never wanted to change, let's say, that style to fit a certain, diaspora, you know what I'm saying? So he just wanted to keep his style to the way he wanted, to the way that fit him, and decided to continue putting music out there. It's the same argument that we could use with football, man, when people say, well, Ronaldo changed teams, that makes him the GOAT because he's won different things in different leagues, and Messi just stayed in the same league. You know what I'm saying? You could say Andre stayed in the same league, but then, man, I wouldn't consider Andre 3000 as one of the GOATs or GOAT in the
I hear that.
To be honest, but he's definitely different.
Who's your top 5?
My top 5. Oh, this is hard, But like I said, Tupac, boom. I can't take that away from him. Actually, before I go into my top 5, finish off what you were saying. Finish what you were saying.
So basically, what I was saying was that the fact that unfortunately we never got to see, we never got to see Tupac's music evolved. Obviously, his life, unfortunately, was cut quite short. So we don't know how he would have ended up. He could have been, Jay-Z might have not have been who he is today if Tupac was still around. Maybe Jay would still be able to do what he did. And Tupac would have never, you know what I mean? It hits the early 2000s and then Tupac falls off. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a thing of where, for instance, with me, I feel like in order to really be considered as the greatest of all time, it's not just to do something in a short space of time. It's something that needs to be continuous.
Mm-hmm.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's something that you need to do. It's something that you, like, for instance, with Ronaldo and Messi, I put them higher than any other footballer, because not only did they do it in their 20s, but bro, these guys are in their 30s and they're still playing at a high level. Do you know what I mean? They're still doing it big. They're still killing the game in a football sense. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's really where I stand with
I hear you.
my statement.
I get you.
Uh-huh.
I respect you and your point. But again, when you talk about Tupac, I still put him in one. Well, I'll say my top 5. The reason being is because, like I said, there's that word legacy. You know what I'm saying? That word legacy, man. And it's crazy when you deep it, how young he was when he died.
Yeah.
Because he was, what, 20, 25, 26, I think? Might be getting this wrong. Maybe 24. It was between 24, 26 when he died. Now, for someone to have made that much of an impact, and for that person to still be hailed as one of the greatest up until today, you've got to understand that something was different, special. It's just like, for example, some people know it. When they talk about, GOAT status, there's some people just know it. You know what I'm saying? Even if they downplay, but they know it. So when we consider Pac, for example, it's just like I was watching a LeBron James interview the other day when he was 19 and Nike signed him for a $90 million deal and whatnot. Then it was in an interview and they were trying to ask him about pressure and all of this. LeBron knew that he was going to achieve greatness, bro. He knows, do you know what I'm saying? Like, he knew he was already at the top then. He knew he was going to be at the top till, whatever age. And rightfully so. Look at him now. Look at him now. So, unfortunately, like we said, Pac's life was taken away from him, but he was at the top from that age. He was making, such bangers from that age. Songs that from till now still get rinsed out. Even even throughout the protest, believe it or not, those who brought boombox and whatnot, they were banging out Tupac like there's no tomorrow, bro.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And these are younger generation, people that weren't even born when Pac died.
Yeah.
So they weren't even born yet, but they recognize this guy as, whoa, like he's definitely one of the greatest things that he speaks about and all of that, all of those stuff. And what I'm saying is, obviously, we had some artists that were just probably a little bit younger, but they never reached that level at that age. And if we consider what today's society is like, you might say there's certain artists now who get that recognition at that age as well. There's certain artists now who are up there. Do you know what I'm saying? At that age as well, they're 20-something and, look at what they've done. But that's because the day and age that we're living in, that's because of what social media has done.
Yeah.
If Tupac had the social media that we have today, you know what I'm saying? If social media today, or the way the world is set up today, was the same back then when Tupac was on the scene, bro, I don't think any artist could be on that level. Him and Big and them lot. So if we're talking about GOATs, my list, again, I'll still add Tupac there, man. I'll still add Tupac there. Snoop Dogg has to be there. And he's just got to be there for various reasons, man. And yeah, when we talk about longevity in the game, Snoop Dogg is definitely Jay-Z, Kanye, and the fifth one is a bit tricky, but probably have to go with favorite or personal favorite. But we could say it's between two people for me. That would be Nas and P. Diddy. I'll give it to Nas.
I love Nas, man. Oh my gosh.
I'll give it to Nas. Nas is he's a different type of GOAT, man. He's just different. Nas is different.
Ether, in my opinion, like changed hip hop, man. It changed diss tracks, bro.
Yeah, man.
That track there, lyrically, is just he's in my top 5 as well. My top 5, I'd have to say, in no like particular order: 50, Jay-Z, Nas, and J. Cole.
Yes and
don't
no.
Don't
Again,
try and downplay Jermaine Cole.
I would understand that because of the generation that you're from and what you listen. But Cole, definitely, he's one of the best, and I still feel like he has a lot of years ahead of him still. And 50, I wouldn't necessarily put 50 there, you know.
Bro.
Reason being, no, 50 is mad. 50 is 50, man. I'm not disrespecting him, but reason being, as I was saying, when you deep it, 50's been about for time.
Yeah.
He ain't even made that, like, a lot of songs. Like that. 50 stopped, if you really deep it, like, properly, 50 properly stopped making music in, like, 2005, 6. Yeah. You know, he hasn't made proper music in, like, 10 years. If he'd continued that, man.
Yeah, he would have been
but again, if you deep what he has done, how he's turned things around and all of that, we've got to put respect on that, man. Cole as well, stupid. Him and Kendrick, but obviously I rate J. Cole more than Kendrick. Kendrick Lamar, and yeah, man. And obviously we can't downplay or disrespect people like Drake as well, what he's done industry-wise, commercially. If we're talking about industry and commercial-wise, I don't think anyone reaches Drake's level.
Yeah, Drake.
In the rap game. It's just like the MJ.
He's out. It's crazy to think he's outsold Michael.
It's mad. But again, that's the generation we live in. That's because things are so easy, accessible in so many different marketing platforms.
It's true. It's easy to get music nowadays.
Exactly. Before, imagine if CDs, all of these different streaming whatnot were available in Michael Jackson's days, bro.
Yeah, it's true.
Mad.
Yeah.
Mad.
It's a lot easier to do up numbers now. A lot easier.
It's so much easier. We've got YouTube, Spotify, iTunes. We've got, what are the other ones? I'm not... I listed 3 and I was done.
Yeah, you got all those music distributors there.
You still got so much, man. You've got so many, for real. And obviously, with artists, they do tours as well now. And, bro, Michael Jackson's tours, I don't think any artist would reach that level, man, or has reached that level. The only people who could think of is probably, let's not disrespect the female artists as well, the likes of Beyonce, man. For me personally, Beyonce has surpassed Madonna for me. But again, Madonna she's a queen in it, as people know it. But yeah, man, Beyonce has done craziness. Beyonce, Rihanna, and so on, man. They've done madness, and yeah, when you look at the R&B genre as well, got to put respect on certain people's name. Chris Brown, #woman beater.
Oh, wow. A bit controversial.
Bit controversial. I mean, it's not too controversial if it really happened, is it? So,
it's true. It's very true. It's very true.
It happened. It's not, you know.
Man. We're not here speaking lies. But I like OverTime to be quite a neutral kind of place.
Neutral but factual as well, man.
That's true.
Very obviously, I'm not here to choose side, or we're talking about the creative side of these people. But one thing I feel like
creatively, right now, Kanye's just doing it for me, man. Kanye.
Yeah.
And he's been doing it for years, bro.
He's losing it, man. Not losing his creative ways, but I feel like I'm talking about the person Kanye. You need to help. I'm thinking about the person Kanye. But in terms of music wise, the guy's a genius, man.
Yeah,
the guy's a genius, honestly.
I love the fact that he's not limited and restricted to anything. Like you tell Kanye to do anything, that's just his mindset. Kanye will make it.
Exactly, that's just his mindset. You could tell that from the way he dresses to the way he speaks, and you could tell that everything. He's just on about doing what was not, what hasn't happened before, what no one has done before, etc. So you could tell that he's a different guy. That you can 100% tell he's different. On many different levels, he's different. And yeah, man, if you're there watching Kanye from the very start till the accidents happened, till his return, he came back with a bang, and yeah, it's not been the same since, man.
It's true. Some people like the old Kanye. Some people like the new Kanye. Some people just love Kanye.
I prefer the old Kanye. Honestly,
I just love Kanye. Old Kanye, new Kanye.
Kanye's Kanye, man. He obviously went through a phase where, to those who have faith and are religious believers as well, he went through a phase where he was gunning them in a different artistic way, but they couldn't comprehend it. But he was different, man.
Mm-hmm. I feel like that's kind of when like I lost touch with his music and with his stuff when he was obviously calling himself a god and stuff like that. But like
it was that power phase, man. That power phase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I feel like it was roughly around I hate bipolar. It's amazing. I think that's really when his mindset started to like really change. Do you get what I'm saying? Like I obviously with Kanye and a lot of his albums, I don't listen to all of the songs, but there's certain songs that I listen to, and I'm the type of person that I really like to take in the message. And from a lot of the stuff from like that album, Life of Pablo, there's a lot of things that he mentions there where it's like you can see that his views and his mindsets were starting to change towards God, towards faith, and it was just to the way that he sees life. Do you know what I mean? Life of Pablo, in my opinion, is one of the greatest works he's ever put out. I feel like that's really where you feel like you listen to that album and you can really see where his mind is and where his mind was at. And I feel like kind of still is at that point. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's a thing of where, like, for instance, with me, and when it comes to art, like that's something that I love doing. I love to to tell a story. Do you know what I mean? To make people understand where your mind is at, where like through your work and through your art, people understand you. And I feel like Kanye does that really well. Even if he's in a crazy place, he makes you understand that, yo, this is like, I'm not okay right now. Like mentally, I'm a bit off, but you can intake what I have to give.
There's a message. It's not just about making, and that's the one thing we've got to deep. Every single person that we've mentioned, or the vast majority of them, other than Drake, like I said, commercially, but most of the artists that we highly rate is because they have a message.
It's true.
They have a message. Take, for example, J. Cole. Come on.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? We haven't mentioned him, but take as another example, Nipsey as well. So Tupac. So there are people, Nas, they have a message and their message is deep and a lot of people can resonate with that. And yeah, man, that's why with this new generation and a lot of artists that they hail, that they want to quickly throw the GOAT status at them, they're talking about, things that are futile. They're talking about turning up in a club, every weekend, drugs and this and the drinks and, throwing monies at women and all of that stuff. And all right, man, like all of these wishy-washy artists do that.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to hear more of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? It's like, how much are you relating to people? How much are you relating to reality? How much message, are people taking in from what you're saying? Or what is the message actually? Not how much, but what is the message that you're trying to say? How good can you articulate that message through your art?
Mm-hmm. And I completely agree with that, and I really love that. And even like what I was like wanted to get at is even like with your work, like, as a photographer, there's a message in what you do. Do you know what I mean? You just don't just take good pictures. Like, bro, you're covering history right now. Do you know what I mean? And I saw you even tweet that, like, that was something that you put in your bio before you did it, and it's something that you set your mind on. Do you know what I mean? And I feel like that's just what separates average from great. Do you know what I mean? Even if like you're not the greatest of all time, but you're just above good due to the message that you're putting, due to what you're letting people understand through your art. And that's something that, bro, I've like appreciated, and something that I've started to really notice about your work.
Yeah.
Because me personally, I love learning. I love storytelling. I love looking at things, looking at art, and be able to receive something from it.
Yeah.
And I just feel like that's what you're doing, man.
Yeah, man, appreciate that. I've heard that quite a lot recently as well, and just looking back at my work as well, that's exactly what I try to do. And again, just going off what I was saying about artists, when you look at the creative world, people that we hail, respect, and so on are people that literally make us to feel a certain way. You know what I'm saying? Again, when you mention people talk about silverwares and that, give an example, football. I see it as something creative.
Yeah.
Personally, me just talking from a personal perspective, when I watch Messi, especially growing up, especially as someone who loves football, I genuinely feel joy. I don't know about, but it's actually a feeling. I feel joy. Like
I know what you mean.
I don't know if you know what I'm talking about, but I feel like raw, like this is the pinnacle of it. This is how it's supposed to be done. Look at this I'm looking at greatness. And I remember appreciating that from his very debut. I remember seeing Messi play for the very first time in the first team. I was in secondary school. I remember going to school the very next day. Not much people knew about him, but I went on about him, saying he's going to be the greatest of all time. I knew it from the very start, just by looking at that. And I kid you not, especially weekdays. Thankfully, we watch Spanish football in my house, and weekdays, Champions League and that. So I would literally have different school activities after school and whatnot. But then I'll be rushing home literally to watch that guy play, because he kind of just brought out different emotions in me. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just okay on the football side. But when you talk about different type of creatives from different forms of creatives, like video editing and whatnot. I don't know a lot about video editors, but again, I'll probably say the standout ones are those who make people feel a certain way. There is a message in what they do.
Definitely.
You know what I'm saying? And the same thing, we can talk about photography as well. There is a message in the images that I take, because first of all, I've kind of been this person who had always wanted to do things in a certain way. And not just like, in a certain way, but I wanted to always put a message in what I do and the things that I do. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And again, I fell into photography, which I was doing for fun to start. But then it got to a point where, especially during lockdown, at the start of lockdown, I'd taken good pictures, cool pictures, pictures of people that are relatively famous and whatever, but sometimes people even said, "Oh, you're a celebrity photographer," which I never really want to claim. But then it got to a phase, especially during quarantine at the start of it, we obviously had a lot of time to just think, not just to do nothing, no, to think. In the times that we weren't doing anything, I was thinking. Obviously, we spent relatively good amount of time playing pro clubs.
Listen, this guy he's the worst person to have in your pro clubs. Doesn't pass the ball. He doesn't listen. He doesn't defend. I'm saying every time we play,
he means the best person. Of course, he means the best person.
Now, he used to get me. This guy would actually get me mad on pro clubs. He actually get me. All you hear is do me in. Oh, do me in, bro.
I'm done.
I stopped playing pro clubs because of him. I haven't touched it since. I said, nah. I said, we're in lockdown. This is a dark place. I can't be getting stressed because of FIFA. I said, no more.
Oh my gosh, no. But honestly, I had a lot of time to think as well. And in that period of time, I just thought to myself, like, all right, cool, Samuel, you're doing photography, but do you just want to be another photographer? Do you just want to be another photographer? And I asked myself that question for a good couple of days. And sorry, excuse me. some water. Yeah, I just need some water. But I asked myself that for a good couple of days, and I didn't want to accept that. But then I had to just come to terms with my reality of what I'd captured so far. It was just me taking pictures of some famous people or whatever people know about my work, etc. And that was it. But then I couldn't accept that because, especially after Kobe died, I remember the message of legacy. People just started talking about legacy. We're talking about legacy, and that, again, that's something that was just resonating within me. And in my given career choice, I thought, I just don't want to be a person that just passes by through the earth and just leaves the earth when the time comes. I want to be able to, of course, give my best in everything that I do for eternity, and I actually want to leave some form of a legacy as well behind. You know what I'm saying? So that thought came across my mind that what I capture will be part of history. And I decided to write that on my Instagram bio.
Yeah.
What I capture will be part of history. And unfortunately, and I say unfortunately because the events that occurred after is a bit unfortunate. Obviously, we had a whole case of George Floyd. Then we had masses of people protesting all around the States. And it was a matter of time for us in England as well to start protesting. And initially, I didn't want to take pictures in the protest. Yeah. The very first protest that there was, I wanted to turn up and just be part of the protesters, again, using our voices for the whole, movement of the Black Lives Matter, for the message to go forth. And that message being that, we want equality. People should be treated differently. People should not be discriminated because of their skin color. So not really looking at the political part of it, because some people think it's a political organization. I'm not with a political organization. I don't see it as a political organization. You simply reiterating that you don't want people being treated unfairly, unjustly. I don't see politics in that. That to me is humanity. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's humanity. So you need to care about people and just, the fairness of people as well. I think someone said something to me that, I resonated with as well. Someone said, I believe in God. I'm a Christian. Someone said, humanity is God's creation. Therefore, the problems of humanity is God's problems as well, in a sense that God is just. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So God will fight for justice, just like we'll look at the Bible, look at the Israelites, etc. So God will fight for justice. So if we're in a position where we can use our voice or creativity, etc., to also pass that message on, fight for justice in a way or another, we should. So I took that on board and said to myself, do you know what? Yeah. Even though I wasn't going to take pictures during the protest and that, but now I am actually going to. So yeah, me and you both live in London. We follow football most of the times, and not just football, but we both know and see how the media changes the narrative of so many messages.
Yeah,
and the way in which they manipulate the narrative of things. And obviously, I knew that they were going to kind of alter the message of what people are out there really doing. I knew that they were going to focus on, because, again, the news, when we deep what the news is about, it's probably at 95, 96% of bad news. They always focus on the bad.
Yeah, it's true.
So even, for example, when I told family members or different people that asked me that I'm going to the protest, in their mind, I had to be suited up, literally, because I was going to World War III. I was going to a riot. And that's not what it was about. So people would obviously advise otherwise. And I even appreciated and respected that, but they didn't know what the actual atmosphere was like. They didn't know what it was actually like, just being there.
Mm-hmm.
And again, having the skill of capturing images and, just the skill and ability or talent, should I say, of capturing a moment, I decided to go out there and protest. And initially, in my mind, I even said, look, I'm going to take pictures at the end of the day because I want to document this for people to see as what it really is. I want them to see the powerful side of the protest. And also, I want when people look at my picture to sense what it was like being there if they weren't able to attend, because we're in a pandemic, in the middle of a pandemic. There are a lot of people that weren't able to go out, but I wanted them to get the feel and emotions of what it was like to be there. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also, I said to myself, if anyone was in danger in terms of the people that I capture or take photos of, I need to change my wording in terms of people I capture. People probably think I'm abducting people here. But in terms of...
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Capturing bad
and
people for
I was
years.
shooting people. That's, that most times I have to be careful when using photography terminology, because I'm using words like capture, shoot, and so on. So I'm just like, I shot that person the other day. What? So
I'm going to start thinking you're on crud. Big shooter.
Nah, but honestly, I thought if there's anyone who I see that's in danger in any way, shape or form, then I was obviously going to blur out their faces, etc. But then I was very specific with the people. Funny enough, I was having a talk, I was hosting a magazine session yesterday. Was it yesterday or the day before, I think? And I was talking about this. That there was specific, I knew who I was shooting. In other words, I knew the subjects of who I wanted to shoot. Like, there were specific people who I took pictures of for specific reasons, right? For example, taking a look at one of the pictures I took was a magazine cover. What we made it later on to being a magazine cover, but it was of a young boy called Marley, and he's 15. So that's not someone who should normally be worried about protesting for human rights. He's a young child. Do you know what I'm saying? He should be focused on his education. But his whole focus and direction has literally been taken away to focus on a protest and human rights, because that's what injustice does. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So taking that as an example, so I knew the people I wanted to capture. I knew the moments that I wanted to catch. So there had to be a right timing. I had to be in the right place at the right time. There were pictures as well that were featured on BBC yesterday even, of the husband of Bailey Majinga, the lady that was diagnosed with coronavirus. She passed away sadly. But again, she contracted it because of, we know the case, the situation itself. So her husband and also her cousin. So again, that was literally about being at the right place at the right time. I even have a short video, a snippet of me capturing that moment. And it was literally a second. And again, being a photographer, you have to find yourself in the right place at the right time, with the ability to capture things at a split second, because that's what it was. You're given a split second to capture something. You know what I'm saying? So if you don't take it within that split second, you miss the opportunity. You get it? So the right place, the right time, the right people, and also the right emotions as well. And that's why I decided to not cover up the faces of people, because there are so many different emotions that you can tell from someone's face. And I felt like it was important to show people's faces with people.
I even remember once you even put in your caption, you said, the reason why no one's faces are blurred is because this was a peaceful protest. Like, no one is committing a crime.
Exactly.
There's no criminals here.
Exactly, 100%.
Yeah.
And that was it. And obviously, we let out so much different emotions for our face. The pictures I took of, for example, John Boyega, you can see him screaming, shout. You can literally tell, even though you're not there, you can tell what it was like being there. You can see the sweat dripping from his forehead and so on. So I'm very detailed with all of this. And obviously, when it goes to the edits as well, I'm very specific with the edits that I use for my pictures as well. The edits in black and white, why they're in black and white, the edits in color, just the different emotions I want people to feel as well. And even just going back to that magazine cover I shot of Marley, I specifically edited it in black and white because, again, some people looking at that, it looks like it was shot on film. One, it looks like it could have been shot in the 70s, 60s, up until date, and it was literally just a few weeks ago or a few months ago now.
Yeah.
So it was literally a picture that time travels. And that just shows the reality and the sadness of what's going on. That, look, this wasn't in the 70s. This actually happened in 2020. So I want people to feel these different kind of emotions. And yeah, man, so I'm very particular and specific with the edits, the pictures, the frames, and all of that. I'm very, very particular with all of that. And I feel like it did, well, my art of creativeness did achieve its goal by making people feel, you know, certain type of emotion, just looking at the work that I put out there. And yeah, it helps people resonate with the protest, as a spirit of the protest, a lot more. It helps people to see it for what it was, which again was the peaceful protest. I think I only posted once or maybe twice a picture of someone being arrested, and that was because, again, even doing that, these was stuff that already let out within main news outlets. So those that I did post were completely protected. But I did that to show the injustice in their arrest, because they were arrested unjustly during the protest for the wrong reasons. For example, one specific person was arrested because they organized the protest. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I hear that.
You organize it to peacefully stand out there and just what? It doesn't make sense. So, yeah, everything I put out there is very particular. And I can genuinely feel and say now, just looking at the work that I put out there, that it is definitely 100% relatable to what I said a few months ago about talking about capturing history a lot more, because so many people are resonating with my work, man. And I really appreciate it. I really appreciate people reaching out, talking about the work, how it makes them feel, and just the different emotions that it brings out. And yeah, man.
Yeah, like from just listening to everything that you said, and everything, all the thought that went into it, you know, your mindset throughout the whole protest, your mindset through the start of lockdown. I feel like that's what being a true creative is. Do you know what I mean? That's what being, like, creating real art is. And I feel like as I said earlier, like, the greatest artists, they tell a story, they have a message, and how they feel is what they put out to the world, how they're seeing things. Because, for instance, there's certain people that they won't see, because, as you said, like, the media changes things. Do you know what I mean? Like, the narrative that the media puts out isn't always the truth. Sometimes it is, sometimes it's not. But for you putting that out and you showing to the world that, hey, look, this is what's happening, this is what I see with my eyes, and this is what's really happening, is absolutely just so amazing. Do you know 100%. What I mean? Like, the greatest art always comes from a deeper place. Do you know what I mean? Once it comes from within, once it comes from a deeper place, everything that you're just going to put out, everything that you're going to create, everything that you're going to, you know, release into the world is just going to be absolutely amazing, and it's going to be received so well. And
100%.
And sometimes people forget that. People want to do things for clout. People want to do things for the fame. People want to do things for the money. And that's not going to get you far.
That's the thing. Even like there was a bunch of people who the first couple of protests, there were so many photographers, I lost count.
Yeah.
Not that I was counting, but just as a expression, there were so many. And there were people, just as the same number of people who were protesting as well. So there were so many of them present that some people were just doing it for clout.
Yeah.
We saw people going to protest just to take a picture, to post it online, to say, hey, I was there. I mean, there were pictures that even, I don't know if you ever saw it on Twitter, that circulated Twitter of these so-called influencers or Instagram models, you know, dressed up, going to the protest to pose and take pictures. And so people do it for clout. There were some people who did it because it was trending.
Yeah.
But there were people who done it because it meant deeper. It meant something deeper to them. And that's something I've vowed within myself to say, look, I am going to cover the protest, even if the numbers of protesters deflate. And honestly speaking, throughout the months, because the protest is still happening actually as we speak, even this coming weekend, there's a protest. So I said to myself that I would cover the protest because I wanted to get the whole thing. I wanted to document the whole thing for what it was. Do you know what I'm saying? And even though the numbers have literally just deflated, but those that turn up, they turn up still in the same spirit as the very start.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I'm saying? They still have the same spirit as they did from the very start. And yeah, I feel like people definitely jumped on a bandwagon, but then there were people who actually put a deeper thought into what they were doing, why they were doing it, and what they're trying to get out of it in terms of, deeper reason. And when I think about the whole thing, the whole protest and stuff, when I talk about what I wanted to get out of it, I wasn't planning to shoot. And this is the thing, I never once reached out to any news organizations or any of those asking, hey, do you want my pictures? Hey, look, I'm taking good pictures. You want to use each and every single one of them, from magazines, front covers, magazines in France, in the US, the BBC, they literally all reached out to me saying, look, we've seen your work, it's amazing, so on and so forth. Can we, et cetera, et cetera. So that was it, man. That was it.
Yeah. It's once it's genuine, do you know what I mean? Like, you're always going to get something out. And honestly, that's just from I feel like listening to this podcast, listening to this episode, I feel like that's something that everyone should take from it. Do you know what I mean? Do things out of love, do things genuine with the genuine heart. And the results always come. Sometimes it's not going to come as quick as you want, but it's still going to be there. And even if the results isn't like there financially, like personally what you did, bro, that's just, do you know what I mean? Like, you can say that you captured history. Do you know what I mean? 20 years 100%. From now, maybe your pictures, probably your pictures are going to be shown in schools. They're going to be in books. Do you know what I mean? Kids are going to read about what happened in 2020, and they're going to see.
Talking 20 years from now, but even right now as we speak, crazy enough, but there are kids in a university doing essays on my work. And in schools, there are drama classes using my work to recreate scenes and not recreate scenes in that sense, but to fill scenes and so on and so forth. And funny you say that because, again, there were photographers that turned up because a magazine hired them, because news cover. I remember the very first protest I went to. There was a specific photographer who came like literally towards the end of the protest, and I remember talking to this guy, and he was like, "Yep." So I just came to take, the few shots just to give to the magazine because obviously I know that I'm hired to do this work. I'm gonna have to give the work to them. But the first question he asked me was, "Who do you work for? Who are you working for?"
Yeah.
So I was just like, it's independent. Not as in I'm working for anyone, but this is my personal project. So I'm documenting it for myself. But again, there are photographers who went there because it's their job. And I'm not knocking them down for that. Because it is what it is. People need to work. Do you know what I'm saying? But again, when, like you said, when you do something out of love, then the result, all of that, the result, what's the word? The response, the honor from me, it's going to be completely different, man. Completely different. Even down to one of the big companies that reached out to me. They literally reached out to me saying, "Look, we'd like to use your work for a specific project because the agency we used, we don't feel like the work that they gave was, as good as yours up to scratch. So we'd like to use yours instead." So it was a bit crazy. And all of it is still a bit surreal in a way, but again, as the day goes by, I'm just trying to take it and trying to fathom it all. And man.
No, man, honestly, it's really, really, it's truly, truly, truly inspiring, bro. Truly inspiring. and it's even biblical. Do you know what I mean? Like once you, it's like, I'm going to paraphrase here, but you know the verse where it says like, work in secret and God will reward you openly. Do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
you didn't go out to try and find success through what you were doing. You went out just like you were doing you. Like what you were doing was in secret. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, not physically speaking, but it was for yourself. There was that sincerity. There was just that love and that passion, and God looked at that and He honored. Like, do you know what I mean? Like myself and you, like we're Christians. We believe in Christ, and I believe that it was. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, you have your skills, you have your talent, but I feel like God's hand has definitely been a part of this, has been over this. Do you know what I mean? And that's just been
doubt. And I always say that when people try to, give credit or just basically try to throw the accolades. Oh my gosh, you're so this, you're so that. I always say, look, it's not me, it's God. The glory is not for me. God, literally, glory for God, because it's not me. If you try to deep the length of time that I've been doing photography properly, I picked up a camera. I've bought my very first camera at the end of 2018. And I was shooting for fun, shooting here and there. You remember this, you remember this. So I bought my first camera for fun. I was shooting. A few people even said to me to go into it. Some people even asked if photography was one thing I wanted to do full time. I don't know if you ever asked this. I feel like I probably did. But but it was never, in my mind, it was like, if it happened, it happened. It's not like, I'm planning to go into photography. I had different plans. When I had left my workplace at the time, I even went to do a different job, which was an event management and all of that stuff. But then just being there, just understanding how unfulfilled you are in a role, even though it gives good money and so on and so forth, man. But you just feel unfulfilled. You just feel like, I'm here to do much more. I'm here for something more. I'm not just here for this. So you feel a calling. You feel a calling that's a lot greater than what you're doing.
Like a purpose.
Exactly. You feel a purpose. And man, so sensing that and obviously seeking God's guidance, I just said, you know what, God, like literally lead the way. Whatever happens from here, I'm asking you to lead the way. And things happen. Things literally, we could say, fell into place, but God put them in place. And when I look at the skills, the abilities, because people look at me again, they assume that I had gone to university studying photography, because people normally need to do that for years and years, get the degrees and whatnot, then, go get the job of their dreams, then learn and get this amount of experience before they can get the first magazine cover, before they can, get the first feature and this and that and the other. But all of this has happened without me ever learning from any university schools and so on. And even when it comes to YouTube being a teacher, you've been around. When I watch YouTube videos, if I probably can count on my hands how many times I've watched a YouTube video to know how to do a certain thing. And when I do watch it, I skim past it. I spend 1 or 2 minutes and I'm like, yep, I know it. Yep, I got it. Then so you can literally see it's God, it's the wisdom of God. And I can't take any credit because I can't. I'll be lying and I'll be a hypocrite to take any credit, because literally speaking, like literally no credit is for me. It's literally for God, because this is all the work of God.
Yeah, man. Honestly. And I feel like Sam has said it all, man. If you're like, those of you that are listening, like take that into consideration. Do you know what I mean? I believe you have plans. I believe you have aspirations for the future. Just trust God. Everything happens in God's timing. Do you know what I mean? And as we said, just do what you do. Do what you do. Do your work in secret, and God will reward you openly. God will show your efforts. God will show the time and the dedication in which you put in. Because like one thing that I've because for those of you that don't know, I take pictures myself as well. Sam is actually one of the reasons that I actually picked up a camera as well. And one thing that I've always loved about him is the fact that how determined he was to always improve. And even like as he said, he just used to take pictures for fun, but even taking pictures for fun, this guy wanted to be like professional. Do you know what I mean? Like he wanted his fun pictures to be like, yo, yeah, this one here's going on Vogue next week. And that's something that I really, really, really loved, and something that I had to I admit I learned that from him. Do you know what I mean? I have like mentors and stuff like that, people that teach me, but that's a trait in which I picked up from him. So whatever you do, whatever you want to do, take time, work on it. If you're a photographer, if you're a videographer, you have your own equipment, don't undershoot. Get friends, take pictures. If you do music, just, you know what I mean, sit in your room with headphones in, just write a song, do something, whatever it is that you want to do, take. And if it's not in the creative like sector, because I know it's not only creatives that listen to this program, whatever it is, just present it to God, surrender it to God, and just do your part. Do everything that you can in your power, and let God take care of the rest. And is there anything you'd like to say, bro?
No, you said it all, man. Honestly, you said it all. Again, if I'm going to say anything more, just reiterating what you said. I personally believe that we have a part to do, and God has his part. God will do his part when you do yours, 100%. And you just need to do yours wholeheartedly as well. Like literally, if you can do something, you need to, dedicate yourself to it 100%. If you don't dedicate yourself, then you just believing in God is not going to make miracles happen, just the fact that you believe in God. A lot of people have this, a lot of Christians tend to have this idea or this mentality to say, nah, look, it's all in God's hands. But they take that too literal.
Yeah.
Like it's all in God's hands. So even when it comes to, for example,
be a photographer.
Yeah, exactly. Like one day, it's gonna happen. Like like they don't believe in investing, or they're too lazy to invest. God can't bless you if you're too lazy to invest. Do you know what I'm saying? God can't do that. But God, not that he can't do that. God will not do that, because if God puts you in a position now that you have so much responsibility, so much and all of that stuff, but you're too lazy from the get-go, you're not going to pull your weight all of a sudden, because now you're in a high position. Because the laziness is something that's engraved within you. Do you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, man. So that needs to change first. You need to change who you are, how you are, work ethic, etc. And when you apply yourself, God will open doors.
That's it.
God will open doors. Like literally, when I say open doors, he will open doors. You will meet people who, yeah, look.
It's true.
Words,
true.
yeah.
God is not a God of action. Point he's a God of reaction.
Reaction. That's it. Reaction. And I'll be honest with you, before I only used to have my friends and families on my phone book. But now it's not just anyone. My phone books, yeah. You'll meet people of certain place, certain positions. I remember seeing an Instagram post before when someone even mentioned on an Instagram post, when you dedicate yourself, people will be talking about you in places that you could never imagine, like in board meetings and rooms and stuff. Your name will be mentioned. They'll be talking about you, not in a bad way, but in a good way. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's something, again, that I genuinely believed as well, that your name will circulate around in a good way. Because going out there, sometimes, for the longest, I didn't even post my picture on my photography page, so people didn't even know what I looked like.
Mm-hmm.
But for some reason, they knew me. They were like, that person, because you put that work out there. So apply yourself, man. Apply yourself, and God would definitely 100% honor you.
That's it, man.
That's all I've got to say.
Thank you to everyone that's listened to today's episode.
I'm just happy that this is audio, because I'm looking kind of rough right now.
Yeah, man needs a trim as well, bro. I need a trim. It's all mad. Hairline's all crooked and that. but thank you, Sama, for coming on.
My pleasure.
I hope you guys that listened, I hope you guys learned something. I hope you guys got something. That's something that we really care about here on the Big Fish platform. Also with OverTime, we not only just want to give you good content, we also want you guys to learn and to gain something. And hopefully with the gems that Sama dropped here today, you guys were able to, to receive something from it. We're going to have the links to all of Sama's work down in the description. So make sure you guys follow him. Make sure you guys keep up to date with him. Make sure you guys witness him capturing history. And like, comment, share, subscribe, and we'll see you with another episode of OverTime soon. Peace.
Appreciate that.